Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shola's Mentorship Blueprint podcast. This is a place where we empower minds and shape leaders. I remain your host, Olushola Odubanjo. I am a registered nurse, a chartered manager, and a mentor. Today's episode is actually a wake-up call. If you've ever stepped into a leadership role or aspire to lead, you need to hear this. Leadership leaves fingerprints, and if you're not careful, those fingerprints can crush the very team you're supposed to lift. Yes, they can crush them. Today, we're going to talk about the unwritten contract of leadership, the ripple effect of toxic behavior, and how emerging leaders can break the cycle instead of falling into it. Now, let's start with leadership is a contract. When you accepted a leadership role, you didn't just get a title or a corner office. You signed a contract, not a paper contract, a moral and human one. The one that says, I will create conditions for others to thrive. I will guide and not dictate. I will be accountable for my impact. But some leaders, they actually forget this the very moment they sit down in that office, because for them, it's about the position. Now, think of the manager who arrives at an organization or a company or to a new team that actually dismisses the team's ideas, take credit for all the good work, and leaves young professionals frustrated. That's a contract breach in action, and it happens more than you think. And I'm sure you know this. Let's be real here. Poor leadership isn't just unpleasant, it's actually contagious, just in case you don't know. Example is a department head who constantly belittles staffs. What's the result? The result surely will be anxiety, silence, and disengagement. Or a senior leader who plays favorites. What will the results be? Teams then stop innovating, collaboration dies, and talent just remains. Now, just in case you don't know, every emerging professionals is actually a seed. If you lead poorly, you shunt growth. If you lead well, you grow a forest. Now, my questions for my audience: how many promising young professionals have quit? Now, not because the work was hard, not at all, but because the leadership made it impossible to shine. And this usually breaks my heart when I hear this. My question is, for how long do we allow toxic leaders rule? Now, let's do a bit of a mirror test. I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, do my team members hesitate because they fear making mistakes? Or do they stay silent because their voice isn't valued? Do they disengage because I fail to engage them? Because I hear many leaders blame generational laziness or lack of motivation. But maybe, just maybe, it's your leadership style that's the problem. This mirror test actually requires a sincere reflection, and only you can do that. Now, let's flip this. You have a new CEO joins a failing company, team, or organization, but spends their time, the first 90 days, listening, mentoring, and empowering teams. Trust me, within months, morals and productivity will definitely increase. Or a manager that inherits a toxic team culture. Now, instead of this manager just coming in and imposing control, he or she models empathy and accountability, slowly transforming the culture from fear to trust. Now, these two scenarios I've just said show the power of leaders who honor the contract rather than breaking it. And sincerely, we need more of such leaders around. It's a shame that we have just few sincere leaders around, not just leaders that say they would do things and their action says otherwise, or leaders that chooses who they want to be nice to. Now, this is an action for emerging leaders. If you want to leave a positive leadership legacy, 1, own your influence. Everything you do set a tone. 2, prioritize growth over control. Clear paths for development, inspire loyalty and innovation. Also, the third one, lead by example. Standards are not just rules, they are lived behaviors. And lastly, check your impact daily. Always pause and ask, am I lifting or crushing my team today? because one day your fingerprints will be visible in the success or failure of the people you lead. So here's the challenge. Don't just take the title, take the responsibility, honor the contract, break the cycle of toxic leadership. Just because you inherited a toxic leadership does not mean you should continue in the same cycle. To emerging leaders, your team's potential depends on it, and so does the future of your organization, team, or wherever you're leading from. This brings me to the end of today's episode. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode and previous episodes on this channel, in order for this channel to grow, kindly like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs it. Until next time, step into the leadership role your team deserves. Bye.